Some watches are, you know, not quite there yet. Other watches are almost perfect. Once in a while, however, this happens. This watch just makes me smile. And I can see you smiling too. Well, we can't actually see each other, but I imagine you sitting there grinning from ear to ear because you see what I see, and that is that Seiko has absolutely nailed it here. Before we continue, I'll give you all the essential details in the next 60 seconds. The stainless steel case has a 40.5mm diameter, a thickness of about 13mm and measures 47.6mm lug to lug. Switching off the lights, you will see the hands and indices are generously loomed. The loom on the bezel has been reserved for the pip at 12 o'clock. It's a diver's watch, so you are getting a screw-down crown and a screw case back, giving the watch a 200-meter water resistance. This model features a slate grey sunburst dial. The curved sapphire crystal features one-sided AR coating on the inner surface. Note that Seiko has foreseen drilled lugs. It is very easy to swap out bracelets and straps, which is great news since this is a bit of a strap monster. Finally, beating inside is a tried and tested high-performance caliber 6R35, an automatic movement with manual winding capacity and a 70-hour power reserve. Alrighty, let's get on with this. First of all, I guess I don't have to tell you that this watch takes its inspiration from arguably Seiko's most important diver's watch ever made, the 62 MAS, but forgive me, I'm not going to dwell on that, as this is a thoroughly modern watch with a story of its own. Also, there are 4 versions of this particular watch. Whichever one you end up with, they all have of course the same form factor, a 47.7mm lug to lug, meaning that these will fit pretty much any wrist. It has a 40.5mm diameter, an excellent size for a diver and actually not that usual for Seiko, a brand that usually prefers its diver's watches to be on the larger side. I have this strange feeling that the sales numbers of this particular model will tell Seiko that it is perhaps not such a bad idea to downsize the cases on some of its diver's watches. On the blocky case you can see various finishes and angles, including on the squared lugs. The case has been covered in what Seiko calls its super hard coating, which is set to make it harder wearing. While on paper the numbers clearly show that the coating works, I would not expect this watch to keep scratches at bay forever, as this will eventually pick up scratches as well. A visible difference from other Prospex watches is that we find the crown here at 3 o'clock, not at the usual 4 o'clock. No crown guards either. At this case size there is really no need to edge the crown to 4 o'clock to avoid it digging into your wrist. Now, moving to the dial, the sunburst effect works well, and I think the slate grey, almost blackish color is really the way to go. The applied indices and the baton hands are nicely finished, as you can see here from up close. They are of course taking inspiration from the original model, but these hands, these indices, they feel entirely modern to me in this new, updated, more beefy format. Floating above the dial is a slightly domed crystal, which looks great and really fits the overall design language of this watch. Circling the dial is of course that gorgeous black brushed bezel. It covers 120 clicks. One clarification seems necessary here, so the bezel is stainless steel, it is not ceramic, as has been incorrectly reported all over the internet. We reached out to Seiko directly and they have clearly confirmed no ceramics here. Seiko is, by the way, able to bring ceramic bezels at a good price point, as they have shown with the turtle, for example. So you know this was purely a design choice, and I agree with the choice. The look of that bezel, of the non-ceramic bezel, fits the overall aesthetic of this watch. A ceramic bezel would have missed the mark, potentially. I felt exactly the same way about, for example, the non-ceramic bezel on the Black Bay 58, and the same is true here. At 12 o'clock the lume pip sits nice and low, so it does not stick out above the bezel. Another point that is being incorrectly reported is, by the way, the lume on the bezel. Some reports stating that it is fully lumed and such. As you can clearly see, the bezel is lumed. Yes, but it is limited to the dot at 12 o'clock. Here as well we reached out to Seiko to make sure we didn't have some incorrectly lumed watch, but it is confirmed only the pip is lumed. The bracelet then is a step or two above the older Seiko bracelets, so no stamped metal to be found here, and it feels 100% modern. Keep in mind, of course, the pin and color system that Seiko uses. Know that this bracelet is not unique to this particular watch, so you will have potentially seen this on other Seiko watches. The clasp then feels really solid, it fits very well over the bracelet, so no odd shake to it either. The locking clasp is of course present as it is a tool watch. Overall the bracelet and the clasp have been fine-tuned, and the increase in quality here is undeniable if you compare this to older Seiko bracelets. Is the bracelet perfect? Well, it isn't in the same league as, for example, the bracelet on the Prospex LX line, but of course those are also in a different price category. This watch is also available on, for example, a lovely rubber strap, but I would highly recommend to go for the bracelet instead. You will not regret it. Now, how does it wear? On the wrist it is most comfortable on a strap. It looks good on something as simple as a NATO strap all the way to a nice leather strap as shown here. The watch does not feel top heavy at all, so it sits nice and flat on the wrist. It's not a thick watch either, so it easily slides under a shirt cuff. I certainly didn't have any issues with that. I think this meets the criteria for being that perfect go anywhere, do anything watch, and it could make for a wonderful one watch collection as well. When looking at watches I usually have little things or comments. Frankly, right now I have none. I think Seiko did a fantastic job respecting the past while not fearing to bring this watch firmly into the 21st century. To me this is one of the most exciting watch releases for 2020. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm always happy to hear what you have to say. Thank you.